Jen here, and I have an everyday inspiration layout for you. This month we have a picture from Daisy. She took a picture of her shelf where she's got a whole bunch of yarn and she's got some cute little knickknacks on top of it and some layouts hanging on the wall above it. And of course I went right for the yarn. I love to crochet and I have a ton of yarn and I have lots of projects on the go. And Daisy has been doing some like crochet and chat videos or work in progress videos. So I thought it would be fun to go ahead and use the yarn because that's super pertinent for her as well. And I noticed in her picture that I actually have maybe not the same brand, but something very similar to her in that multicolored kind of rainbow neon yarn that she has. I think there's like 3 skeins that I pointed out in the picture at the beginning, and I just have this one. I have to say I can't remember ever buying it. It probably came from way back in the day when I used to make American Girl doll clothes and blankets and sleeping bags and toques and mittens and all that kind of stuff for all of Kaylin's American Girl dolls. I probably picked this up thinking it would make a fun toque or something like that. So I only have the one. I've never used it, so I thought it would be really fun to challenge myself to actually use all of these kind of neon bright colors, which then meant that I had to try to find pictures that these would work with. But I also wanted to use the black background, which is inspired by all of the yarn in Daisy's picture being on a black shelf. And then the other thing I really liked was just the pattern of circles that the yarn made. So I really wanted to use circles in my layout. So once I had the kind of basic idea just of those 3 things that I was inspired by, I went through my stash of photos and I ended up pulling out these New Year's Eve pictures. They're from way back in 2018 going into 2019, and I bought at the dollar store one of them, I can't remember which one, some photo booth props that the kids could play with all night long while they were waiting to count down. And the glasses that I'm holding up to my face actually have Happy New Year written in them in all the primary colors. So they're not neon, but they're primary colors. And so for me, that was kind of a close enough match to this yarn that I thought it would be really fun to go ahead and use those. And then of course it's darker because they were taken at night. So I thought the black background paper would be kind of tie in with that and be a good choice. And then I thought it might be fun to do these kind of bursts of yarn with a little bit of the gold. So it all kind of tied in really well with the theme of New Year's Eve pictures. So I used some of that modeling paste or modeling clay, whatever it's called, in gold, and just used a palette knife to scrape some of that onto the paper, let it dry, and then poked some holes kind of going roughly around the outside of my little modeling paste splotches. So they're not perfect circles and each one of them is a little bit different, but I thought that kind of, I like the way that kind of makes it imperfect and makes them almost look like maybe fireworks or just something similar to that. So I went ahead and stitched, poked holes, and then I stitched through those holes. I had to split the yarn in half, so there's 2 strands. I was only working with 2 strands instead of the 4, but it still definitely looks like yarn, and I think it was a lot of fun. Also, just because of the way that this particular yarn worked, I think it took me a little bit longer because I was splitting up some of the colors and trying to make sure that each of my little bursts had at least 2 or 3 of the colors and didn't get stuck on just one, and that all of the colors eventually made it onto the layout. So it was still fun though. I really enjoyed this whole process of stitching on there. I was thinking of adding the sequins into the stitches, but the yarn is a little bit thicker to work with, so I just thought I would go ahead and glue that on. So you saw me doing that too. I just pulled out some gold sequins and they don't, oh, you haven't seen me do that. Sorry. It's coming up right now. I'm getting ahead of myself. When does that ever happen? But yeah, so I just wanted to, I like the idea of having the sequins, and I didn't want to have a ton of extra embellishments on the paper. So I thought I can put a lot of sequins and it isn't going to make it look too busy because it's all the same type of embellishment, instead of having, stickers and chipboard and all that other kind of stuff. So I'm using just random gold. So they're all kind of mixed up. Some of them are matte and some of them are really sparkly and some of them are have like glitter in them and stuff. So I'm just scattering them on the tips of all of those little bursts, from the yarn. And then I also needed something to mat my photos with. So I just took some gold. It's kind of a shimmery pearl textured acrylic paint. And I just put that onto some white cardstock. I didn't want to have white because before doing what I'm doing right now, I didn't think I was going to introduce any other patterns or colors into the layout. So I wanted to keep with the gold, and I didn't have cardstock that was the right gold. So I just painted my own and then backed my photos. And I used a little bit of foam as well behind them just to pop them up a bit. And then I came home and discovered that my sweet, adorable puppy had gotten into some of my scrapbooking stuff, and she just happened to pull out that white and gold polka dotted paper. It's actually quite thick. It's like a thicker cardboard cardstock, and the gold polka dots are glittery. And I thought, oh, this might actually be fun just to, I don't know, give the layout something else, because I was really struggling with, I didn't want to add a ton of extra stuff because I want the yarn to be the focus and I really want you to see all the fun colors and the detail of the stitching. So I didn't know how else to embellish the layout. But when I got home and I saw that paper, I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and use it. But I realized she actually chewed a whole chunk out of it. So I couldn't mat the entire layout. So I decided just to cut those two sides off and kind of give it that one corner. And then that also helped with the thickers for my title, because I remembered that I had these, they're kind of an imperfect print. So they were at the Paper and Ink boutique, and Julie had saved them for all of the teachers because they were not printed properly. So there's this weird kind of white border around all of the letters and numbers, but it's not even and it's not really supposed to be there. But I kind of liked that it matches the gold and white paper. So I pulled those out, and I was going to do Welcome 2019, but it just didn't fit the way I really wanted it to. So I went into my sticker book and I was just flipping through, and I happened to notice that one of the sayings in this is the Maggie Holmes American Crafts sticker book. One of her little gold sayings was "Oh hello," so I thought that would be fun. So now the title is "Oh hello 2019," and then I also pulled out some white and gold hearts. So the background is white and the hearts are gold foil, and then some solid gold hearts. You can see I'm looking through here. This is the Chamel sticker book, just trying to figure out if there was anything else I could add on there. And I didn't really find anything, but I decided to take my white marker and this gold marker and just do a couple little dash lines on the opposite side to the paper I added. So it just kind of fills in the frame, I think, for me anyways. The white and gold paper kind of frames the one side, and I felt like it needed something on this side. So I just went ahead and did that. And then I'll use my white marker. Oh, I think I lost a sequence. Yep. I knew I lost one, but I couldn't tell where. Then I'm going to use my white marker to go ahead and just do a little bit of journaling here about how I love to stay home with my kids on New Year's Eve and celebrate with them. Now that they're old enough to stay up, it's kind of fun just to hang out and celebrate. And that is it, you guys. Super quick, super simple. I love the way that the inspiration piece and picture kind of played in and worked really well with these photos. Yeah, and so you can see what everyone else did with their inspiration picture this month. All the links are down below. And if you have any questions, you can also leave them for me down below. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Happy scrapping! Bye.